That was a pretty terrible intro song. Admittedly, I don't even know if I got the vibe I was going for, but anyway, we kind of mailed that one in. They can't all be winners, They can't all be winners. Here we've got a hardware sign. Installment 3 in the Retrofit series, the last one. For some reason, I don't normally do things right in a row like this, but in this case, I decided it was appropriate. I gotta finish some of these series sometimes, you know what I'm saying? There's a clever little mini golf. This is in Weirs Beach, New Hampshire. A map of the good old USA. A tire man. This one's in California. Look at those puny tires to this monstrous Paul Bunyan type character. Anyway, if you're just joining us, this is just a playful little dalliance through the buildings of yesteryear, and how some of them, like this one, for example, is clearly a repurposed something else. I just highly doubt that this is in Omaha, Nebraska. This is Skip's Skelly service. But I highly doubt that this was built to be a gas station. It seems much more likely that this is a shoehorn, a retrofit of a business that's just making do with the architecture that was already here. Who built it and for what purpose? I don't know, and maybe I'll never know, but some of these are quite obvious, like this one. And then some of these mixed in are just signs and things from yesteryear, just set the context, because that's how I believe that these things blended in so well, is because there were so many other buildings that were just designed to look like a corny castle, and so it wasn't obvious. It was just kind of the corny, kitschy nature of the day to move into things like this and then name it a shell, and that's how it kind of went undetected. This is my theory, and so I'm throwing in a lot of pictures of other buildings that are not retrofit, are just literally just goofy old roadside attraction type buildings to set the tone as a stroll through memory lane, Like this thing, this looks like an old church or something. But no, it's a gas station in Turkey, Texas. And this is a pure gas station, we're told. Well, it was. And then it became a photo studio, clearly. This is in Greenwood, South Carolina. Cute little building there. It's much better as a photo studio, I believe, than a gas station. Kind of wasted on a gas station, But there's another one here is in Milwaukee, a Beacon. I believe it became Mobile later on down the road. And this here's Bob Pig Shop. And this also was a gas station, believe it or not. And this is in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. Pauls Valley must be bigger than I thought, because there's definitely some over-representation here. Here you got another one that looks like it was, a cottage of some sort from, European cottage. It definitely doesn't look like it should be a gas station. I mean, this is just wasted, this tower. But this is in Toronto. So even our northern neighbors, aka the 51st state, can't avoid it. And this looks like it's got that sort of same little fin thing that a lot of the old theaters had. I just wonder about this. Why this shape? It's just very odd. And again, we're in Pauls Valley, Oklahoma. There's a McDonald's in Azusa, California. I don't know why I put that one in there. It's kind of stupid. And wow, this is a roadside flamingo. And they're calling this a statue. I would say it's, I guess, made out of plaster or something. And this is, of course, in Frog City, Florida. Why it's not a frog, we'll never know. This is on Route 16 in Glen, New Hampshire. This odd hippopotamus, and I don't think that they are native to the region. Actually, this is part of a little theme park called Storyland. This is perhaps one of the most odd mascot sign I think I've seen, this cowboy shrimp, which is supposed to be advertising for Christie's restaurant in Houston, Texas, but I don't see any signage anywhere that would tell you that. Old school drive-in here, Oklahoma Street. It's in Milwaukee also. Mr. Leon's drive-in with his frozen custards. This is a mini golf here in Fountain Valley. The windmill. I like the ones where the windmill blades are so long that that's the point. You have to time it. I haven't done mini golfing in a long time. Ice cream stand in Long Beach, Florida. Michael, there's always money in the banana stand. Castle Rock. This is in Michigan. This little curios shop, I suppose. This is obviously Riverside's got this little castle amusement mini golf thing. Mini golf attraction. And here's a Sayers building in Phillipsburg, Montana. Looking decidedly like it was part of the old world. Look at that detailing. Beautiful. And this is, like I said, in Phillipsburg, Montana. Love these old buildings. Said it was built in 1896. And honestly, I hate dice with sharp edges. Even the little bit slightly rounded ones, This is an odd headless statue here in Marineland, Florida. I'm not sure what it's supposed to mean there. Wes Craven, what's the guy's name? The Headless Horseman? I changed careers. No longer am I a equestrian. This is in Lompoc, California. It's a little rice bowl chow mein place. And this is a shrimp boat restaurant in Macon, Georgia. And it looks like a boat, but I don't know if it's just designed to be like that or not, but that's kind of the idea. Another teepee inn here. This one complete with eagle and everything. This is in Adrian, Michigan. And here is a mill restaurant, which I'm assuming was a mill first. This one's in St. Louis. Otherwise, that's a rather elaborate theme to do back in those days, don't you think? Another diner here made out of a passenger car. This is Ship's Diners in South Norwalk, Connecticut. And this guy, the Dairy King, is taking some funny lengths to go to not get sued, I guess, by the Dairy Queen. I think you should probably just pick a different name, personally, rather than misspelling dairy like that. But, no one consulted me. Penny's Homemade Ice Cream Candy, Ukiah, California. Things that looks like boarded up probably by now, but, that fits because of the theme, but, I doubt it was built that way to be a candy store. It looks like an old house or something. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just pointing it out, dude. I'm just pointing it out. Nothing wrong with any of this stuff. This is due to a fire, they moved to, just reading the sign here, due to fire moved. It's kind of sad. This was a cinema, obviously, in Pittsburgh, Kansas. And no telling what it originally was, but it's got these sort of portal windows and stuff we see everywhere. And look at next door. Man, this old world stuff is just so cool. Gutted by fire, eh? Here's a theater in Berkeley, Michigan, though. And again, that seems sort of thin, I'm describing it as like a fin. It's almost like a big, I don't know, it's very odd. It is eye-catching, and maybe that's the point of it, but it just seems to be the same shape everywhere. I don't know what it means. I have no theory. For young and old, lies my father told me. A warm, touching story. That seems like... No. Lies my father told me, a warm, touching story. Sounds like a cold, detaching story, personally, but who knows? Maybe there's a plot twist. Maybe father's lies ended up being like little white lies, for the better. Who knows? I don't want to spoil anything. I know the movie came out 40 years ago, probably. The Senate Theater in Dearborn, Michigan. Same little fin here. Very odd. Or with an organ club. I wonder what that is. That could go both ways, And here's an Overland Theater in Overland Park, Kansas. Also boarded up, sadly. Got that beautiful retro look with the old sort of a sun thing here. Like a lot of those theaters seem to be Aztec themed. Or, they were already looking like that and when they were sort of reappropriated, I don't know. But it looks like it to me. This here's on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. It also was a theater. And this Capri Theater also for sale in Shreveport, Louisiana. Another theater here in Patterson. Well, Patterson's the name of the theater, I should say. Baltimore, Maryland is where this one is and or was. And it's very odd, it's very odd. This same sort of shape and sign. Like we've seen this be turned into a torch and all sorts of other things, like repurposed in many different ways. I don't know what it was originally, who knows? But it seems like if all these theaters are gone out of business, just seems like a lot of money and a lot of weird effort to put into designing these theaters. So they're just going to go out of business like right away almost. There's another theater here, obviously. And this one's in Mankato, Kansas. And very cool brickwork and such around here. 1887. Yeah, so see, if this is built in 1887, then this has got to be a not designed to be a theater. We didn't have theaters back in. Fight me, I'll prove it. Somehow I'll prove it. I don't know. I think we already looked at this detail in the Atlantic City boardwalk, but ridiculous to expect that this was just part of the theater. Such unnecessary expenditure and so not with the times. Like that is just not the style. And this here is the Roxy Theater, the Land of Oz in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, looking decidedly less cool than the Oz that I imagined. But look at that building. Look a little closer here. Where'd it go? Where'd it go, dude? How dare you? Look at that old trim and the old symbolism just everywhere. Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. I wonder what these little things are. Like little eagles, maybe. Who knows? But definitely an old worlder. This is in a place called Paw Paw, Michigan. The amazing number and diverse range of town names throughout America is always startling. Only one showtime at 3 o'clock, huh? That's no wonder you're out of business. That's good. That's hard. That's like the worst time. Poplar Bluff, Missouri is the name of this town where this theater existed. Just look at that thing. How cool is that? Wonderful. I love this stuff, I wonder what this little thing did at one point, though. Not that all of these I'm suspecting are from some sort of previous society. A lot of these are probably built in the image of, this sort of second wave. But a lot of these, I would bet, have their roots shrouded in mystery. There's a Rialto Theater in Missouri, and again, I think there's a Rialto Theater in just about every town, I feel like, or every state. It's very odd. I wonder what the story is behind that. Ah, we're back in Dinkytown, my least favorite named city. And this is a commercial building in Cortez, Colorado. Was there stenciling up there? I wonder if it initially had engravings and it took them off, or they fell off or dilapidated, so they stenciled them on. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. This is an insurance agency here in Leadville, Colorado. Very cool old western town look. Doesn't look like an insurance agency. Got ghosts in the window. The Brass Menagerie in Georgetown, Colorado. And this is in Georgetown, Colorado as well. Wow, very interesting, the difference in style there. Look at the detail up top there. Just beautiful. What's that creepy face? Never understood those. This is just a commercial building, we're told. No further details. Just look at the side view there. Just look at it. This is they actually put a truck on the top of the roof. That's pretty wild. This is on the Pacific Highway in Seattle, Washington. And this is a Harris department store in San Bernardino, California. Yeah, it's almost like hiding. It's almost just buried here. Just lurking where no one has decided to tear it down just yet, at least in this early day. But soon, it's coming for you. You know it. This is in Eureka, California, which again, one of the most amazing little Victorian, time capsules as far as buildings go that I've seen in California. And here's the rest of that Harris department store, also in San Bernardino. Just look at that thing. God, my dang. Moons of Morgoth. That's just a beautiful building. That Harris just looks stupid pasted on there. What a gorgeous look. And this is a Ruth's Draperies, and somehow I doubt that old Ruth had this building designed like this to be a drapery. You know, this is ridiculous. So whatever this was initially, it don't seem like it fits into this current paradigm. Now do it. No, sir, it don't. This is Goldfield, Iowa, a random commercial building, and you just wonder, what this was, and if they just knocked this window into a door. I don't know. Definitely looks like a ratty door compared to the rest of this cool, old, substantial brick. It's, it's lasting the test of time. Just amazing, man. Look at these old windows and stuff. This stuff is so dope. And this is just this is an employment. Look how cool that is, Bob. Just look at it. Love these small towns. This is in Solvang, California. This is where that castle is. The whole town has got this medieval little gothic theme, at least this downtown area. Muscatine, Iowa, the Riviera Theater. Beautiful. Just look at that thing. Parts of it are boarded up, but I wonder how this is even a theater. It just seems very odd. Like, it just seems like, why are so many windows in the theater? I don't know. I don't really seem like it fits to me. It doesn't really seem like it fits at all. I don't know. This is in New Orleans, those South Seas restaurants. Here's a Windmill Holland Pancake House in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That windmill looks like it was built for this building, though. That doesn't look repurposed to me. But in such a context of in this, when buildings like this are around, are buildings shaped like ducks and everything looks so gimmicky, stuff that was actually repurposed would easily hide. Like this, for example, this State Theater in Bay City, Michigan. I think we looked at this already, but this one's actually even further dilapidated than the first time we looked at it. The picture must have been a little bit later in life because these sconces one of them's fallen down or been removed. Yeah, but that just hides because, you got other goofy stuff that is made in the image of. So just gets skipped over. No one really notices it until us. We look back, now it looks very out of place to me. This is in Faribault, Minnesota, this village theater here. And this is Ventura, California, this jewelry store. And again, you've got these little swastika types, this moving energy shape just everywhere, all over California. It is just baffling where this stuff came from. This is back in Anaconda, Montana. Wow. How does one even reach that burglar alarm? It's very odd, but that is a very cool building. And it's a leader building, whatever that is. This is in Macomb, Illinois. W.H. Taylor building. Still holding on. That old world split. 1895. That's what the sign says there. We're to believe. And this is in Iowa, McGregor, Iowa. This little corner building. The lovely clock. Looks like it was a depot at one point, perhaps. And this is in Beatrice, Nebraska. We've been here before. But look at that thing. Beautiful. It's called the Bargain Box. J. Schmuck. 1887, I guess, was built. This is a thrift store now. And all these are just obviously businesses that just moved into these pre-existing wonderful structures. And so you wonder, if it was built in 1889, what was it? How are they so good at this stuff in 1889 in Nebraska? These small towns. How did they have such amazing skill when we don't have that now? It just feels so out of touch. It feels like another world that is just like a veil in between, you know? This is in Peoria, Illinois. And lovely stuff. This is in Los Angeles. Chuck's Billiards place here. Really, I just thought this was a little telltale sign here of something weird going on, that little lantern. And that's probably all it was. I mean, literally, those are called lanterns. So, I mean, that shape when they're on the top of buildings, they're called lanterns. It's obviously that they emitted light at some point from some source. Though why most of the lights are removed at this point is anyone's guess, you know? But there's something shady going on. This is in Los Angeles as well. This little retro old market. And here is also in LA, this gymnasium that was definitely not designed to be a gymnasium. And actually, I guess it was a gymnasium. Now it's for printing and stuff like that. This is in Seward, Nebraska. Man, that is so cool. And I just wonder what these towns look like now. Sure, some of them have retained some of them, like the brick road and everything. Lovely stuff. Just lovely. And sadly, so many of them look like that. And if that was like 40 years ago and they look like that, I mean, this is an old meat locker. What are the chances that they're still around? Very, very slim, I'd say. Very slim indeed. This is a strange storefront here in Venice, California. Looks like a scoop, like an alien yelling. Here's his mouth, you know? He's like, hey, they trying to bulldoze me. Well, I botched that horribly. Sorry, bro, you're on your own. This is a Midland Hotel in Wilson, Kansas. Looking like she's got some secrets downstairs, yes? Like they all do about this time. You know, we see you down there. We haven't forgotten what originally turned us on to the idea that you guys are something other than what you say. Bunch of posers out here. This is a hotel in Lincoln, Nebraska, somehow. It's a very odd hotel. We got like 4 rooms. Guess maybe it could be like a longer building. Still, doesn't look right, does it? No, it don't. This is in Billings, Montana, a Carlin Hotel. Makes a little more sense. And this is in Spokane, Washington, the old Davenport Hotel entrance with this very interesting symbolism here on the... Wait, look at this one. Is that like the... Oh, this one's also got that weird like Baphomet stuff going on with this knight's armor and the weird ram's head. What the hell? Yeah, the last one we saw was in California. This one's in Spokane. Creepy, dude. Why would you leave that on there? Unless you are, you know, a dabbler in the dark arts, which I wouldn't put it past you. Spokane. This is in Fort Worth, Texas, outside of a Masonic temple. So you know that bad boy's old. Just from the sign of them sconces. They just can't seem to get rid of them. And this is in Muscatine, Iowa. It's a little corner thing. Probably used to have a cone, like a little tower top, but it was beheaded, perhaps. The Lux Theater in Grants, New Mexico. And this is an old Oddfellows building. What do you know? Pocatello, Idaho. The Oddfellows are just everywhere. They climbing in your windows. They snatching your people up. That should be the Oddfellows theme song. Actually, I think we saw some before, but this is a fresh angle, so there. In an art center in Buena Vista, Colorado. Now, this is what I was talking about. This is referred to as a lantern, just in case, you know, maybe most of you know that, but this as an architectural piece, right? It's called a lantern, so it's, I don't know, not that far-fetched to say that, yeah, at one point it contained light of some sort, which was probably powered by something here, and it probably, like, some sort of harnessed some sort of energy, either from solar stuff or atmospheric energy, and then obviously a beacon, a lantern at night. I don't know why that would be such a far-fetched thing to say since it's literally called a lantern. Apparently it is. Apparently I'm a maniac for thinking such thoughts. I didn't name it that. Pueblo County Courthouse in Pueblo, Colorado. Another completely out-of-place old world banger with our special logo featured prominently. Right there. Right there. This is in Minden, Nebraska. This old world hanging on here, looking like a place where Cruella de Vil hangs out. It was a bank at one point, we're told. Pepperdine University, got that weird birthday cake tower there in LA. And this is the City Hall in Santa Maria, California. Again, looking like it's just been reappropriated. I don't know, some old mission or something. I don't know. I know some of these are probably built to look retro, but some of them probably are not. Look at those horns on the top of that. It's awesome. It says Waitsburg, Washington. It is the City Hall. It was the bank. You see how these groups in our hydra of control, they're so interchangeable. It'll be the bank, it'll be the library, it'll be the university, and no money exchanges hands ever. It'll be like just passed around. Now it's the police department because they're all the same freaking name. This is the Ellen Theater, this gorgeous theater in Bozeman, Montana. My lands, look at that bad boy. That stuff up top there, that is just freaking beautiful. Beautiful. And this is Glacier Theater in Browning, Montana. Rather dumpy. Indeed. Rather dumpy indeed. Mineral Wells, Texas. This is a high school out there in Mineral Wells. I believe one of the commenters was familiar with the area. Jamie, perhaps, was it? Familiar with this area, which is pretty cool. Ridiculous to be a high school, especially when the snow are being used. Concordia, Kansas, contributing this ridiculous old post office to the retro party here that looks completely out of place. But there are many post offices that look like that for sure. And all of them look out of place. Guthrie, Oklahoma. This bizarre little onion top tower here, and this old world stuff here. And this is a Gray Brothers building, built in 1890. And this is a municipal building in Santa Barbara, California. Wow. And the school board approved this for the budget, eh? How completely unbelievable. What is this toy soldier standing guard right here, dude? Is that a real person? I don't know, dude. He's standing way too still for my liking. Look at the doorway. It's just ridiculous. Signs the lighting fixture. Nah. Something going on here. Get out of my slideshow, Mr. Boo Boo. How dare you? And this is the state capitol building in Guthrie, Oklahoma, with a very strange decision to build like this. 1889, of course. A little four-pronged tower there. And I don't buy that for one frickin' second. That's what that was built for. Look how this is cool. This is in Guthrie, Oklahoma also. Guthrie must be a pretty amazing old place. Retaining all that dope little Antiquitech type stuff up there. What a fantastic little town. This is in San Diego. Allegedly built in 1891. This here, coal block. And this is Yakima, Washington. This, again, completely classic style, old world wonder. Which just, this stuff is just embarrassing that it hangs on this. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't like it. The modern stuff is so tacky. Umbrellas and banners and crappy posters, you know, on top of a building that looks like it was chiseled out of stone. Even if it's just a facade and it's just a, you know, concrete or like something that's designed to look like stone, still the image, and then you hang a banner on it or a plastic tarp. It's just embarrassing. This is in Tacoma, Washington, or was. And this is a glimpse of a mission inn in Riverside. So I'm guessing this was originally a mission. They try to maybe pass it off like it's designed to be like one, like Rainforest Cafe. Look, it's a real rainforest. Got ocean sounds or whatever. But this one looks way too sprawling and then way too suspicious. I'm calling BS, bro. Hopland, California's got this little witches' huts on Route 101 on the old PCH. This is back in Eureka. And this is in Ukiah, California. This little sneaky little thing. You decide to keep your hat, huh? But the rest of your clothes gotta just remodel. That's a little weird. The hair performers, it's agreed to. Now see, at least that's barbershop's got better lettering than some of the other ones, which is like a crayon. That's just so weird. Someone would choose to represent their business that way. Mark Twain Hotel was, I'm guessing now it's just a coffee shop? Hotel Mark Twain. One of the more suspicious of the fake characters that we're told. Anywhere you need a confirming story, let something weird happen, Mark Twain will show up. Oh yeah, I'd prove it. Yeah, Mark Twain sat right here in this bar. Yeah, it's true, yeah. And he said this about it. Hannibal, Missouri is where this old world banger is. And this one's in Douglas, Michigan. This beautiful old house, which has actually been in breakfast since 1890. The Kirby House, we're told. So maybe that's the only one that's been the same thing for the whole time. That'd be pretty dope. In that case, get out of my slideshow, dude. You don't fit. This is Butte, Montana with this Copper King mansion. Bed and breakfast. And that is pretty incredible house. My lands. Look at that bad boy. That is just bizarre. Imagine having the audacity to build such a thing and live there. It just seems insane to me. It's an American Legion in San Antonio, Texas. We got the same kind of fin thing going on. It makes me think it was an old theater. Hell, I don't know. Hell, you don't know either. A rather fancy Hotel Frontier Maplewood Hotel. This is in Saugatuck, Michigan. And some law offices have these columns outside. This is the detail of them. And this is Salinas, California. I don't know what lawyers think about that kind of stuff. You know, I doubt it. The old drugstore in Aurelia. Well, at least it used to be. Now they sell wooden wheelbarrows. What do you know? That's an upgrade by my reckoning. Beatrice Vision Clinic in Beatrice, Nebraska. Oh, man. Just painted all blue, huh? The whole friggin' thing. Like, none of this... I mean, I hate that. That is really actually kind of comical, too, that the Vision Clinic uses just tiny little letters. You can't even see what the sign is from far away. Like, anyone looking for this obviously has trouble with their vision. So you make it intentionally small font. That's just... Man, you can't make this stuff up. But, like, you have the detail on this. Like, you imagine just spraying all that. Like, why? Not even going back over, like, a little, like, just tracing the inside. It's just such nonsense, bro. Such laziness. I don't like it. Maybe I'm being picky and sound like a butthole, but just my own, if you're gonna get up there and paint it, I just don't understand why. And you gotta get back up there and take the tape off and all that. You might as well put a little white on the trim or something. Yes, it's a county courthouse in Sigourney, Iowa. Look at that beauty. My lord. So gorgeous and just so unnecessary. What in the world went on in this land before we moved in? It is so hard to say. But I don't think it was people rolling around naked eating acorns like they told us. I mean, it's just impossible. And then we were just so amazing, and then and then now we're just not. This is Masonic Hall in Petaluma, California, complete with the old trifecta here, which if this isn't a church, someone's going to tell you, oh yeah, this means the Trinity. Oh, well then what does it mean in the Masonic Hall? It just means, pyramid? Yeah, right, not buying it. Can't work for everything. DJ's Lounge, again, in Goldfield, Iowa. A radio will leave me, I don't like it loud. Concordia, Kansas, with the Union State Bank. And this one, Uptown Cleaners. I see you put this little cage around it. You can't fool me. That's an old world building. I can tell by the brick. And this is in Quincy, Illinois. And this is in Owatonna, Minnesota. This cute little jewelry store there. Atomic signs, neon plastic. Dang, that's most sign stores have a really generic crappy sign. At least this one's like flexing its skills there. This is in Farmington, New Mexico. This is on Elm Street, New Canaan, Connecticut. Little picturesque little beauty. And this is a look down the downtown, look at Main Street on Columbus Junction, Iowa. And just town after town with this dope old style, it's just amazing. No one ever got tired of it, huh? Dan Quayle Center and Museum. It's amazing, Dan Quayle. I know a guy, he must be from this place. This is a bank, or at least it was a bank, and now it's a museum, obviously, in Huntington, Indiana. And again, of course, you go from bank to museum to whatever. It's all interchangeable, same company, same people. Don't you worry about it. This is a barber shop on Idaho Street in Dillon, Montana, and I'm guessing is definitely not designed to be a barber shop. It's a cool building. Chimney. Hope these are all still around. But and I know that they are. This is a bank, or was a bank, now it's a historical society in Deposit, New York. Beautiful entrance here, which was a former bank, and now, I don't know what it is, but this is Winona, Minnesota. Just look at that, man. And of course, you got the Eagle. This is just so out of freaking place. I don't know what the rest of Winona, Minnesota looks like, but what world is this just normal? There's no world. Not this world. God, the past is such a mystery. It's fascinating. And this might be that one bank actually that we saw in the first one. It had some of that weird stuff still on the side like this. It's very possible, but the detail on this is just absolutely amazing and so out of place. And Elks Lodge, secret society / fraternal organization in Ouray, Colorado. Of course. Yeah, what a great building though. It's absolutely out of place. Like an old courthouse. And there's a Masonic temple in Alexandria, Indiana. Looks like it's been a little whitewashed over the years, no doubt it had some different stuff going on. This is also a Masonic temple, as you could tell here. 5910, or is it the address or the date it was built? I don't know. It's always interchangeable, you just never know. But this one is Walsenburg, Colorado. Interesting little domes there. And this is a Union Pacific Railroad station in Nampa, Idaho. Well, it's now a museum. God, a railway station looks like this. Give me a fucking break. Yeah, right. I ain't buying it. And here's a 7-Up bottling company in Portland, Oregon. Another little retro look here. Stuff is pretty dope. Dope and pretty also mysterious and telling that I don't believe that it is what they say that it is, but still, that's just me. Maybe I'm just suspicious for no reason, maybe all this stuff makes perfect sense. A theater in Dade City, Florida, and this is in New York, Southampton, and this is also a theater. It doesn't look like it was built to be a theater, does it? Pretty grandiose there. Here's a funky little bus depot. It looks like it's been shoehorned inside of this old world brick building here, and this is in Bend, Oregon. Yeah, there's a better image of it. That's exactly what it looks like they did. Same with this little guy. Just carved away this little beauty salon in the middle of a brick building here. Amsterdam Savings Bank in Amsterdam, New York. At least it's what it used to be. And here's a state bank that's now turned into a dental office, maybe? I guess the dental is upstairs. And this is in Sutherland, Oregon. Everywhere you go, folks, it's the same look. It doesn't matter if it was developed in Pennsylvania in the 1700s or Oregon in 1900. It's the same look. That don't make no sense to me. This is now a restaurant. It was a national bank in Fairfield, Illinois. And this is a theater in Merced, California, we're told, or expected to believe it was built to be that way. I've got my doubts. Public library in Nampa, Idaho. Complete with the same old little logo to find everywhere in the world. Everyone in South America, everywhere. Russia, everywhere. Everywhere you could possibly go. Seems to be everywhere. And this is the Carnegie Library in Livingston, Montana. Oh, wow. The bench was donated, huh, by the radio club. Wow, thanks. What a great bench. Spare no expense, radio club. This is in Kadoka, South Dakota. I guess it's a school. And 1938? Okay, well, maybe. Seems like a little, what is it, radioactive? The hell's going on in Kadoka? I'm assuming it's no longer there. This is an elementary school. Completely ridiculous elementary school entrance, really, by my standard. What's this guy? Are they saying these things are not safe? Like radiation? Or is that just, there's something I'm not understanding about that symbol? Why is it on these two schools? This is a school also. This was, Clay Center, Kansas. Not looking like an elementary school, that's for sure, but that's very strange. This is a museum in Lewis, Delaware. Very, very peculiar. Museum where, where you go for education and stuff, right? That's fine and well. I'm just wondering why there's a unicorn on it. There. I'm wondering why there's a unicorn on it. It's so educational. Unless I'm misreading, unless I'm looking at that wrong. Looks like a unicorn to me. Guess it could be some sort of land narwhal. Very cool facade, though. Very cool building, indeed. And I just wonder, this is now a police station. It was a jail in Phillipsburg, Montana. And this is in Hannibal, Missouri. Memorial Library. Quite a few little towns that are on repeat here, which is pretty cool. This isn't suspicious at all. Yeah, just a library. Just a library, folks. Nothing to see here. A regular old, perfectly nondescript, completely reasonable, massive old world library. This is also a library in Anderson, Indiana, Carnegie of the Carnegie funding. Sure. We only have a little bit of money to give out, so make sure you spend it wisely, little poor broke towns. Make sure you get a little library that you can't afford, and then make sure you make it as grand as possible. Here's a motel office and symbol in East Haven, Connecticut. The office, where's the friggin' rooms? They're up there. The top room is very tiny. You have room basically just to stand up. This is in Gulfport, Mississippi, the Alamo Plaza Hotel Courts. Probably just name it that from the entrance, looking like the old Alamo. I mean, that's what I call it anyway, the Alamo look. This is the Lost Balance Bar in Austin. It's kind of funny. That is not, Austin, Nevada. I was going to say, Austin doesn't have that in the background. I thought I mislabeled it. Nope. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is the Fleur de Lis Cocktail Lounge. Name the Fleur de Lis. I wonder what came first. I don't know. The Nat Ballroom in Amarillo, Texas, looking seedier than hell. And here's an Elks Lodge in Trinidad, Colorado, with a very interesting construction look. I've seen that time and time again in all these old buildings occupied by these strange fraternal organizations. Visalia, California, here's your Masonic temple. Not to be left out, Up, we're always watching. This is the Ford Block in Rome, Georgia, which has been painted over multiple times, and now it's repurposed into a furniture store. And who knows what's going on upstairs. Probably drug deals. Rapid City, South Dakota, checking in with this absolutely gorgeous building, this onion dome. My lands. Give me a break, dude. What is this doing in South Dakota? It's ridiculous. This is just getting more and more preposterous. Every small town you go to has got some ridiculous holdover like this from a bygone era. Union County Courthouse, this is in Union, South Carolina, of course. And I'm glad that we have all these old pictures because I have a feeling that many of these are not around anymore. This is Miami County Courthouse in Peru, Indiana. Miami County, and the city name is Peru. Bizarre. And it's got a mansard roof, and it looks like it's a hodgepodge of styles from all over the world. So what the frick's going on here in America? This don't make no damn sense. This is Whitley County Courthouse in Columbia City, Indiana. Also preposterous detailing. That's not a complaint. I mean, I love this stuff. It just literally doesn't jive with anything that I understand about this land. And this is Marshall, Missouri. Their Saline County Courthouse. Another beautiful, delicious old world banger. And this is Independence, Iowa. We got this here with this little mini Statue of Liberty out here. Wow. Bizarre. Buchanan County Courthouse, huh? As far as we know, that's still what it is. But pay attention to the shape, The shape looks just like so many other buildings that are repurposed as things that are not courthouses. And this is a theater in Dallas, Texas, in the Casa Linda Shopping Center. And this is another theater in Parkersburg, West Virginia. Looks like it's got the same styles as some of them old courthouses, the same sort of stylistic stuff. And this is another ridiculously overclassed theater here in Pratt, Kansas on Main Street. And what a beauty. What is going on here, man? Just no end to it. And this building is virtually identical. And this is in York, Nebraska. And this is the Sun Theater. Not virtually identical, but I mean, it's so similar. It's got the same kind of style, the same friggin' look. It just don't make no damn sense. This is in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And you see the similarities here between this building shape and this auto showroom here. I mean, the difference, obviously, they put a bunch of glass tile over the front. And this, it's the same style. It's like these were just, were there and they were repurposed however people could. Here's an old drive-in theater. Wow, I'm sure that statue just, that really lured him in. It was probably really worth the expenditure in Marcy, California. I'm just kidding. I think it was probably there way before that friggin' drive-in was even a thing. This is the Paris Theater, the same kind of fin going on here. And this is in Paris, California. And a fire department in Columbus, Indiana, with a little tower here. Very fitting, you know. This is also another Carnegie Library in Guthrie, Oklahoma. Just beautiful. Beautiful old buildings, you know, and it just don't make no sense to me. This is a Tower restaurant in San Diego, California. Okay. Yeah. It makes so much sense. A little octagonal building with a tower on top. I mean, yeah, why not? And this is a Albany County Courthouse in Laramie, Wyoming. It's quite a substantial building. Looks like it'll be there forever. And a Hillborn Top Shop. A car. This is formerly Gates Tires. This is in Mar Vista, California. And I mean, it's still got the crescent and moon thing up here up top. Give me a break. Like this was initially part of a tire shop. No chance in hell. Discourse Drive-In Theater in Amarillo, Texas. Looking boarded up, and now looks like it's part of a gas station. It's so sad, man. These old drive-in theaters and all this old stuff just gone by the wayside. It really is quite a bummer, you know, that this world is so shut off from us. It would have been a beautiful thing to know what it was like and what these things were. And there's one in Rhode Island, Pawtucket, Rhode Island. All right, we got one in Rhode Island. I think that's every state almost. But there you go, got another one here, Green Bay. This is Jones Motor Company, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And why would they have this? Why would they do this up here? It just makes no sense. There's got to be something going on. Here's that old Hoot Owl Cafe in LA. This is when it was, God, that's very creepy, actually. I would not go in that place even if it was open. Just seems very terrifying. And an old gas station here in San Antonio and in Danbury. Just makes you wonder, you know, who in the world, how in the world was this stuff not so obvious sometimes? It's almost like a different incarnation of man with just a different brain. And I don't know if it's just all the information that we have access to now and all the things that we now know we are just suspicious of. And perhaps the only reason is because, as I've stated before, all these buildings were buried in a sea of this sort of stuff. These little roadside, you know, whatever you call them, statues, advertisements. At least this one's honest. It's an absurd undertaking. This one's in Cottonwood, Idaho. And maybe because everything's a big fantasy world. Wow. In Gaffney, South Carolina, this big butt/peach water tower. You know, maybe it's just all blended in. Maybe everything was so new and exciting to everyone, and there was no suspicion that all this sort of stuff just slipped right through the old wayside. You know, I don't know. It certainly seems plausible, and I wonder if it's by design. You know, you wonder how much we've been goaded and coerced down these roads by powers that be. Not necessarily human powers, but at least not at the source. You know, I believe obviously that our struggle is a spiritual one, and all the decisions that are made that are steering us down roads that are not the best for us. Well, I think that the plan at least originates outside. This is a long strategy, long held, long being planned, fomented for eons. How to deal with us and how to exact revenge on either us or our creator, whichever it may be. This is, of course, just my own view of the world. And so when I speak of like they or our enemy, it's not necessarily people, though in this realm, I believe that they're the only ones that can be effective. So I believe that our enemy works through people. I believe it's the only way it really can, by implanting ideas or even straight possession. That's how I think things work. This is good old Paul Bunyan here in Spruce, Michigan, and there's a petrified rock park in Lemon, South Dakota. So yeah, maybe somehow along the line we get encouraged to do things like this, to make these kitschy styles, and then all this old world stuff just hides right there. This is Pocahontas, Iowa, in the Pocahontas gift shop in a town called Pocahontas. It's amazing. And I often see this, this eagle thing or double-headed eagle thing above teepee doors, which is really interesting considering it's everywhere else in the friggin' world. This is in Gulfport, Mississippi, an old repurposed little tugboat looks like. And so, yeah, that's just my theory on why this stuff, how this stuff can hide, because it's in a sea of goofy stuff like this, that it seems like it's just another silly, it's just a silly, like, theme park thing. It's the Holbrook, Arizona, this one. It's wigwam hotels everywhere. What a funny little time to be alive, Some of these giant dudes. This one's in Albany, Oregon. Looks like the guy's got a foot for a hand here. Poverty Motors. Wow. A very aptly named business. What is going on there? Are you even trying to sell anything? That's terrible. That may be one of the most terrible ones I've ever seen. Here we got another. This was the Tower Pizza in Greenbrook, New Jersey. This is in Idaho. And just the funniest things here. No potty stops available beyond this point, huh? This is the Dinosaur World entrance in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Wow. And this is what they believe that we came from, huh? Well, if that's the case, then explain to me, beautiful women. If this is the cave women, this is our cave woman ancestor, then where did beautiful women come from? And I mean, all women I've ever met or known or been related to ever in my life ever has been beautiful. Just to cover all my bases there. But you know what I'm saying? If this is how we started from, well, he's got better looking over time? I don't think so. Usually things degrade. This is in Dickeyville, Wisconsin. This old grotto. I'm not saying I'm a big fan of the name of that town here. This is in Whitefish, Montana, and so many of these old drive-in theaters. You are missing Wall Drug. You don't think that'd have something to do with like Walmart or Walgreens or whatever, but no, actually, it's Wall, South Dakota. The name of the town is Wall. Isn't that funny? At least I thought so. Isn't it a diner here in Pennsylvania? Pootie's Pasties, Iron Mountain, Michigan. And wow, the Reball Cafe in Albuquerque. Looks like it used to be something else. It used to be Wimpy's Mexican food? What? Wimpy eats burgers. Frickin' animals clamoring for food. What do I look like? You caregiver? Yeah. Another Carnegie Library looking like it's been beat down. This is in Guthrie, Oklahoma. There's very many prominently featured buildings here from Guthrie. We might have to pay it a visit. And there's a beautiful old neon marquee in Chicago. Wrangler Western Wear. Look at that building. Granite, and this is in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So many of these lovely old buildings. Uranium Cafe, huh? And that's on Road 66, that one. This is in Pensacola, Florida, this confusing chicken. I'm a B&B, said the Dog Bark Park. Oh, that's what that's for. Interesting. Wow, it's actually, you can actually live, like, stay in it? It's like a balcony? That is interesting. I mean, I don't think we're making stuff like that anymore. Another shoe repair store. This one's in Bakersfield. Admire the dedication. This is the main street. Look here in Stillwater, Minnesota. Jake's Barbershop. Buddy, someone might need to tell you about your signage there. And I know it's got the benefit of having this pole that helps, but dude, are we still doing the thing where the pawn shop, the pawn shop has like the three coins or whatever it is, the sign that used to hang up above pawn shops. It's like 3 coins, I think it is. Wasn't that an old thing? Kind of like the barbershop? Bisbee, Arizona. This here, bank. Bisbee's an amazing little town. Very far out of the way, but if you ever get a chance, it's a fun little place to visit. Here's that same Bisbee bank at a different angle. And an old mining town with a buttload of mysterious buildings. Don't make no damn sense by my reckoning. Hey, get out of my slideshow. Who the hell does that man think he is? The Darien Playhouse, eh? All right. Look at that convention hall. My lands in Asbury Park, New Jersey. That is patently ridiculous. Old castle look there. Paramount Theater is actually what it is, or was. It's in a Virginia theater here on the boardwalk in Atlantic City. And a massive municipal building. Looking like it's been bombed out. Like half these windows are missing. This is in Oklahoma City. I guess I shouldn't say bombed out. I was talking about Oklahoma City. There's a poor phrasing there. This is on Water Street in Decorah, Iowa. This is a Chamber of Commerce, apparently, as you can tell. If you can't read, well, I just read it for you. In Riverside, the old city hall. Now it's, of course, just a thrift store or something. This is a completely preposterous high school in Madison, Wisconsin. My lord, look at that. 4-pronged tower. That's just so baffling. Little mini post office there in Kansas. And another one here. Well, now it's a high school annex, I guess, but it was a post office in Tiffin, Ohio. Just interchangeable, all these Hydra parts, just take one off and screw it on there. Oh, it's no longer a school, now it's a museum, oh, now it's an insurance company. There's a Rialto Theater in Deer Lodge, Montana. So there's another Rialto Theater. Rialto Theaters everywhere. Homemade peach burgers. It just never really seems to end, folks, does it? The Ship Restaurant in Saugus, Massachusetts. I see a door there. This is in Valley Arizona, in Flintstone's Bedrock City. I think that this place has been vandalized and destroyed, and I don't think it's around anymore. This one's in Tucson. Wow, Leaning Tower Pizza's seen better days. Definitely since the first picture we saw, it's seen a rather sharp decline in appearance, I'd say. Them old neon lights. I miss them bad boys. This is a Wigwam Lodge in Tempe, Arizona. That definitely is not here anymore. Waiting for my water taxi. Is that Houdini? I think that was Houdini. Here's a Colonial Theater in Kansas, Junction City. Yeah, that's not suspicious at all. Brunswick, Missouri. An old Gothic theater in Denver. A completely over-the-top, preposterous detailed theater in Boston. A Savoy Theater, my land. Look at that thing. That is just so ridiculous. I don't know how they freaking got away with it, dude. Hi. This is Lake George Magic Forest staff statue in Lake George, New York. I don't know what's up with these large men statues. This is the Mitchell Corn Palace in Mitchell, South Dakota. Allegedly, at one point, made entirely of corn. I wish I was kidding. Here's a Statue of Liberty monument at Peterson's Rock Garden in Redmond, Oregon. Very strange, some of this stuff. Like this Storybook Gardens billboard. Ugh. Is that even a human clown? I don't know what kind of clown that is, but... No thank you, sir. St. Lawrence County Courthouse in Ogdensburg, New York. Looking suspiciouser than hell. Completely unnecessary, unless that's functional. It's completely unnecessary for to have that. That'd be my hot take that you probably heard a billion friggin' times before. Here's a Rialto Theater in Georgia. Okay, so that is a Rialto Theater in Columbus, Georgia. Interesting. Here's an opera house in Newberry, South Carolina. Dubious foundation and everything. Looks like the scene of a Back to the Future. Smith's Opera House in Geneva, New York. Also dubious foundation. Looks like it's rather sunken in and weird doorway there. It should extend further. These old opera houses are quite prestigious. This one's in Fairmont, Nebraska. And this is a completely lifelike Tyrannosaurus Rex head eating a perfectly innocent fish in Eureka Springs, Arkansas, in Dinosaur World. And I'm told that those are the actual teeth. Those are real teeth. This is a Platybelodon's eye in Thunder Beast Park, Chiloquin, Oregon. Gatorland Zoo alligator statue in St. Augustine, Florida. And they do smoke cigars like that, I'm told, in real life. This is in Wisconsin Dells. This is a foam house of tomorrow. So you can see in a goofy world like this, yeah, you could pass off a castle that looks like a Chinese restaurant, or you never saw such a place, huh? Wow. The Grotto of the Redemption, West Bend, Iowa. That is a curious place. I don't know anything about it. I suppose I'll have to do some homework. There's a funky post office on Miami Beach. Caw. And Lewis County Courthouse in Weston, West Virginia. The little obelisk in the front yard and everything. Red Wagon Restaurant. I mean, look how corny that is. Just this little facade sort of put on the outside. You know what I mean? So this looks like a circus tent, I guess this is supposed to look like. That's in Lake Delton, Wisconsin. I'm not trying to be a jerk, you know. I mean, I appreciate this corny stuff, but still, how far we've come. And I wonder about these drive-in theaters. If they were anything first, or were they built to literally be like that? I don't know. There's a Wedberg building in DeKalb, Illinois. Some very interesting tile work there. A to Z Video on Cherokee Street in St. Louis. Very curious ornamental detailing on some of these. I just can't help but notice the similarities from town to town. There's a Loyola Theater in Westchester, California, with a magnificent crest. Always with the fin thing, Just, what a bunch of copycats everyone was everywhere. The Double Star Studio in Oklahoma City. An Oddfellows building in San Diego. The Florida National Bank in Coral Gables, Florida. Give me a fucking break. Look at that thing. How ostentatious of you. Not a fan, yo. Not a fan at all. And here's a Whitley County Courthouse in Indiana, looking incredibly out of place, as usual. Unbelievable. It just never ends. It's just absolutely unfrickin' believable how many of these are around. There's a post office in New Ulm, Minnesota. Yeah, right. The basement and everything. What a post office freaking basement for? Guernsey County Courthouse in Wheeling Street is Cambridge, Ohio. Yet another one with a ridiculous obelisk out front. Man, it's just so silly. Belmont County Courthouse in St. Clairsville, Ohio. Absolutely preposterous. These old small towns, how the hell do they have this money for this stuff? There's no friggin' way. This is the Hollywood Theater in Portland, Oregon. Just look at the detailing on that thing. It's unbelievable. And what we're told, and the lie I'm just going to make up right now, is this was imported from Dresden and brought around the horn. But like I said, that's a total lie. Was just built by the theater because they just felt like it, They just did. Independence, Iowa, clocking in with this banger. And the Bank of Delaware County here in Delhi, New York. Of course. The state bank here in Audebolt, Iowa. There's so many funky little town names. They can't be very populated, but still, they had enough money and well-being and prominence to do this everywhere. This is in Geneva, New York, an old opera house. Another opera house here in Fremont, Nebraska. Absolutely stellar. You should actually add opera houses to the Hydra. Well, really, I guess they're included with like the entertainment, like the theaters, really. City Hall in Deer Lodge, Montana, and the City Hall in New London, Wisconsin. Just breathtaking buildings. They really are. There's no end to it, folks. We could literally do this for days and days and days. There's an Orpheum. There's another Orpheum Theater, which is, again, those are everywhere. Orpheum in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Marfa, Texas. Got this by Sign. We looked at that one already. This one's in Yuma, Arizona. This completely unbelievable San Carlos Hotel. And this is in Hannibal, Missouri. This is a city library in Springfield, Massachusetts. Wow. Unbelievable. Just hiding, just right there in plain sight. This ridiculous stuff. This is a Strand Theater in Shreveport, Louisiana. My God. Explain this to me. How is this stuff possible? There's no way America did this. So it's not even our style. It's not even the way we would do anything. McDougall Building here in Salinas, California. Alturas, California with the old Elks Lodge there. This is a Tivoli Building in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Stuff is just ridiculous. Oddfellows, now an antique store, of course, in Red Bluff, California. That makes sense. Here's an old Moose Lodge. Still got the little Masonic logo hanging right at the door. This is in Oregon. A rather subdued Moose Lodge here in Bakersfield, California. This is an American Legion Hall in Del Norte, Colorado. Granite Savings Bank in Vermont. The giant green statue in Blue Earth, Minnesota. Is that the name of a town? Blue Earth? That's amazing. I remember the Green Man. Wow. Beachwear sign in Daytona Beach, Florida. Harken back to when people wore stuff like that swimming. The Knights of Columbus in Louisiana. Look at that thing. Look at the symbolism on that. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. At least for me. At least I don't believe it. What about you guys? You believe this stuff? An old theater that's now a decayed wreck outside of Woodbine, Georgia. Tallahassee, Florida, got this Randy's Campus Theater, looking sadly lost for the world. And this one too. This one in Tacoma, Washington. We just can't maintain any sort of infrastructure, can we? New Harmony, Indiana. That's where this opera house is and or was. This one's in Cesar, Illinois. Let's look at that thing. It's unbelievable. Of course, all these are just gone. The Production Credit Building, which then became the Occidental Life Company Building. And they're just competing for boring names now in a gorgeous building. Albuquerque, New Mexico is where this chimes in. And yeah, who can put the most boring business name on the most amazing building? I think we've got a good shot at it. And we're just kicking down that old barbershop hole any way we can without even knowing the meaning for it, It's bizarre. Humans are a funny lot. Another Elks Lodge here in Atlantic, Iowa. And Odd Fiddle Buildings in Manchester, Iowa. Weird that the Odd Fiddle Buildings then has a city hall and the police now moved into it. Makes you wonder, don't it? They're all in cahoots. Old theater in Clarksville, Arkansas, now gone. Now it's like a Halloween store or something. Roseville, Michigan, got this old theater here and the barbershop all in one. Aw, John Candy. That's a sad one. It's a sad one. John Candy seemed like a relatively wholesome dude in that sea of demons that we call Hollywood. Then again, you never know. It sometimes seems like it's the real nice ones that are the most bleeped up, you know what I'm saying? All these lovely neon signs from back in the day. Don't really add much to the context, but here's a good one in Gila Bend, Arizona. Yeah, you can see it in the background. It's a funny space-age lodge shaped like a flying saucer, and actually it's still there, shockingly, even though that town's nearly empty. Oh God, it scared me for a second. I thought it was real. Just kidding. Dinosaurs aren't real, dude. Wow, this is another shrimp sign? But this one doesn't have a pistol. It's kind of odd, right? 2 shrimp signs? Is there a place that just sells shrimp signs? Fat Bob is a pig, huh? Best, here's my best William S. Burroughs impersonation here. America's not a young land. It was old and dirty and evil before the settlers, before the Indians. The evil's there riding, but there's no drag like U.S. drag. You can't see it. You don't know where it comes from. Take one of those cocktail lounges at the end of a subdivision street. Every block of houses has its own bar and drugstore and market and liquor store. You walk in and it hits you. Where does it come from? Not the bartender, not the customer, nor the cream-colored plastic, nor the dim neon, not even the TV. Great job, William. Such words of hope. These old gas pumps, these are amazing. I love these old things. dabbling in antiques, like I have the past year or two. Really, it's kind of how I've been making a living the past year or two since the abrupt overthrow of my life. You learn a lot about people. So much. There's, so many collectors of strange little niche markets of the world. It's fascinating, when you find someone who knows everything there is about marbles, or you find someone that knows everything there is to know about, much that there is to know about various niche products, whether it's old Lionel toy trains or whether it's tube amplifiers or railroad lanterns. There's someone out there interested in it and has amassed a wealth of knowledge, and it's just fun. It's fascinating, People are very interesting, very dynamic, and there's no shortage to our curiosities. It's just most of the time I think it's really bottled up and hidden, and especially in this increasingly glossed over plastic world where social media is supposed to connect everyone. I feel like really it's just isolated everyone completely. Most people don't even have face-to-face encounters anymore. It's really bizarre. I don't do much social media, actually, really at all. I'm actually not really a phone guy at all. I'm a little old school in that regard. I think it drives everyone crazy around me. Can never get a hold of you. Well, so it goes. But the world has changed. In a very rapid time, things have changed. I feel like the things we have now, digital screens, they're nothing when they're dead. They look the same. It's just a black cube, a square. At least these old things, when they are gone, there's still something to remember them by. There's still a housing or a style to them, design. Strange how much more advanced and yet how much more lame we really have become in lots of different ways. Look at how many different styles of gas pumps there were. It's pretty amazing. Now you can't even get gas pumps, some thing blaring like audio at you, advertisement or whatever. And I understand that a lot of these are ads, and then they are the first sort of wave of what became honestly a vastly commercialized landscape. But there's something a little bit different about these, in my mind, that have a charm that is really gone. And I don't know how long it's going to be until we just have massive screens on the side of the road displaying stuff, and screens inside your car, and screens in your hand, the screen, soon you'll be wearing glasses where one eyepiece is a screen. I mean, when's it going to end and where? I don't know, but I fear the direction that we're going. I really do. I fear it's kind of sad. All this stuff fades away. Not that long ago either, and I'll bet you 90% of the things that we've been looking at in this little retro series is gone. Whatever that thing is, that's awesome. It's North Carolina, part of an antique store, I guess. And it does make me a little sad, even though most of the stuff I barely remember. It still is a little sad that you can't get kids to be interested in stuff like this anymore. You see, like on the side of the road, they wouldn't even notice it. They'd be too busy looking at their iPad or whatever. They wouldn't even notice a Bob's Big Boy sign on the side of the road. If anything, they'd feel a little suspicious of it, or like very uninterested. It's amazing how in just one generation or two things can just completely change like that. So I hope that we revert course at some point. At least I hope that we don't ever let part of this stuff die, because I think that there's a lot to like here in this old world. I think there's a lot to hold on to. And there's a lot of suspicious stuff going on. It just makes you wonder. And once all the evidence is gone, no way of convincing anybody of anything that things aren't the way they appear. Isn't that right, Giant Cowboy in Yuma, Arizona? That's right, he says. How about you, Giant Indian in Freeport, Maine? He also agrees. He just does it much more stoically, very taciturn. Lee's Trailer Service, in Mesa, Arizona. That one there, see that now? That one looks like it's completely, fake. Fake castle stuff, which is why the real castle stuff can blend right in. It's a perfect example. Thank you, Lee. This is in Jerome here, Arizona. Cambridge, Massachusetts, this colonial gas station here. I like the bullet holes in anything that's from Jerome. Like, this is just bullet holes in the middle of it. Woohoo! Like, everybody around here is just a Yosemite Sam shooting up anything that's still. Lots of ice cream stores. Hey, hub up, hey, hub up, hey, hey, hub up, hey. Oh, another guy, Peabody, Massachusetts. Look at these dancing guys. What's going on there? Well, I'm just a pilgrim out here trying to get my Thanksgiving turkey. The old woman is in Belfast, Maine. I don't think that's exactly how the story goes. Another guy, another peanut sign. What's going on with these? These are all in Massachusetts. What's up with your guys' obsession with peanut signs, huh, Massachusetts? Anybody want to comment on that? You see they get their corn that way, these signs each day. Something I'm missing there. The old dolphin statue in Yarmouth, Massachusetts. Get out of here, peanut guy. What the hell's going on there? This one's in Boston. The old teapot sign on the Sears block on City Hall Plaza. I wonder if that's still there. Seward, Alaska. So there you go. You got one from Alaska. All right, dude. I think that's just about every state. That is fantastic. These are kind of fun. A little homemade, but what are you going to do, huh? This is Sir Goonie Golf in Delaware. Yeah, that was pretty dope, actually. Well, folks, that about wraps it up for our retrofit series. I hope you enjoyed the stroll down memory lane. Sorry if it got a little long-winded, but there was a lot to get through. A lot of fun stuff there, in my estimation. And I'll be back very soon with a dive into a completely different nation. Possibly tomorrow. Well, we'll see how it goes. But I'll see you soon.